Hey guys, welcome to the Spincycle. This is a new channel. This is a political channel. We're going to talk about economics, politics, the recent election, why people voted for Trump, why I think Trump will not deliver on what he said, and all things politics. So stand by and we'll get into our first video. All right, guys. So Trump won the 2024 election. He made a lot of promises. He promised not to cut Social Security, but Project 2025 talks about cutting Social Security. Now we have to keep an eye on this with Donald Trump and the Republicans, because Donald Trump, we all know, isn't that bright. I mean, he's a okay businessman. He inherited $500 million. So Trump promised he wouldn't cut Social Security. And the reason we have to keep an eye on the Republicans for this is because they'll cut it in a sneaky way, like the last time. And this is Democrats too, because they're all beholden to their donors. If you don't know much about politics, in 2010, Citizens United was passed by the Roberts Court, the current right-wing Christian court we're under right now. They let unlimited dark money into politics through super PACs. And since then, basically all of Congress has been, and it's not as bad actually at the presidential level, but Congress, both sides, are bought up by these political interests because they want this super PAC money to get reelected and to live the luxury lives they live. If you don't know it, most of Congress are millionaires, and it hasn't always been like that. And there's good Congress people that are outside that box of Congress people that are just in it for themselves to keep money, to make money. But the majority of Congress people are in it for themselves to make money. Look at Nancy Pelosi. She was the Speaker of the House of Representatives in the last House, before this current Republican one. And she's been there for years and years. She's been the Speaker for like 20 years or like 10 cycles. So she stepped down now because she's like 80 something years old. She's just too old to do it. But if you follow, there's actually a web page dedicated to Nancy Pelosi's stock picks. And if you follow her stock picks, if you go to that web page and you invest in the same stock she was, you do better than the S&P 500, or you do better than the stock market in general. And that's because she has inside information. She was the Speaker of the House. And, if you don't know it, there's no restriction on Congress people buying and selling stocks. And if you don't know why that's an issue, it's an issue because they get information and they make laws that govern the stock market. So they get information before we do. Like if a war is going to start in Saudi Arabia, and they know that it'll cause the price of oil to go down, and this is just an example, they'll take their money out of the Saudi Arabian oil stocks before anybody else knows the war is going to start there. Even if we're going to start the war, they'll know before anybody else. That's just an example, a hypothetical that didn't happen. But so they have all kinds of inside information on all kinds of stuff in economics and business that we don't get to know about. Sometimes we get to know later, or we never get to know at all. So if you see, Congress's stock portfolio does very well. And, it's been brought up a few times, and I know some Republicans, some far right Republicans and far left Democrats want to make a law to where Congress cannot, they could, have a blind trust or something where, somebody else does their investing for them, but they can't directly buy stocks, they can directly buy single stocks, which is a problem, and if you don't understand it more, go ahead and read up on it, look into it, go ahead and comment and let me know what you think about that, if you think that's okay or not, because I'm pretty sure whether you're on the right or the left, you're not cool with that, because I'm not cool with it, and I know most of the country's not cool with it. So back to Social Security now. What I mean by they'll cut it in a sneaky way is they'll raise the age of Social Security. That's one way they do it. Like, when I was a kid, Social Security started at 62, or 65 was full Social Security. Now full Social Security is 67 for somebody my age. And I think the group behind me is going to be 68 and then 69 and then 70. I'm not sure exactly how it's broken up, but they made a law a few years back that slowly raises the age of Social Security. And that's a cut to Social Security because you can't get it at a younger age, so you never collect as much as you would if you were able to collect full Social Security at 65, right? Some other ways they're going to cut Social Security is to just, means test it, basically. So if you make a certain amount of money, you're not going to get Social Security. Now almost everybody gets Social Security. It's arguable whether really wealthy people should get Social Security, but they do. But if you make over a certain amount of money and you're still making that amount of money from, stock dividends or whatever, you're not going to bother, or you're not going to collect Social Security just because of the tax implications of it. So Donald Trump said he was going to cut tax on Social Security, and we don't really know what that's going to look like yet, but cutting the tax on Social Security is like, I've heard people say he's going to cut the tax on Social Security that you pay out of your paycheck, which is different than what I think most people thought for him to mean when he said he was going to cut the tax on Social Security. So right now, if you don't know, there's no federal tax on Social Security up to a certain amount. So if he cuts the tax on Social Security, it's only for people who are making money aside from Social Security. And you'd have to look up those numbers for yourself, what those are. States tax, there's some states don't tax Social Security, but a lot of states do tax Social Security. So I think that's more of a burden to your particular specific Social Security check. Like, I live in Colorado. If I was old enough to collect Social Security, I would have to pay whatever the Colorado taxes on Social Security. And I think if I moved to Arizona a couple of years before I retired, which is a non-Social Security state, I could, avoid paying Social Security tax. But he doesn't have any control over what the states do. I disagree with the states, collecting Social Security tax. I think you paid into that your whole life. You're retired. You shouldn't have to pay Social Security tax. That's a different story. That's a fight at the state level. Just comment. Tell me what you guys think. I hope you watch my channel, The SpinCycle. Like I said, this is the very first video. So go ahead and like, comment, share with your friends. If you think I'm an idiot for disagreeing with Trump, go ahead and say it. If you disagree with me that Trump is not going to deliver on what he said, go ahead and comment below. I know a lot of people in the Trump camp are very vocal about their opinions, so I want to hear them. I'm not necessarily, I don't like Trump. I don't like his personality. I don't like the way he is. I don't like rich kids, which he was his whole life. I don't like cheaters. He cheats. He cheated in school. He cheated on the draft. He cheated on his wives. I just don't think he's a good person. But if he does good for the country and says what he's going to do and doesn't, hurt the economic situation that we're already in, which is not good. Bidenomics was good for the country probably on a macroeconomic level, but on a microeconomic level, like eggs at the store, it hasn't been good. And you can't blame that all on Biden. He came into a mess from the Trump administration, from the Trump administration, from COVID, all that. It was, you all remember 2020, what we all went through, the lockdowns and stuff. Biden didn't have an easy job, but Biden's also super old. He said he was going to be a transition president, and then he decided to run for another term, which I think was a big mistake. He should have just said, okay, 4 years, I'm done. I'm 80 something years old. The cognitive decline was so evident to everybody. He should have just dropped out. We could have had a primary and got somebody in there who, might have beat Trump, or maybe not. Trump might have still won. People really seem to like Trump. Like I said, I don't like him. But anyway, go ahead and comment, clap back if you love Trump, share, like, and I'll see you on the next video. The next video tomorrow, I think I'm going to talk about why Kamala lost and the consequences that some groups are facing. You know, the FAFO movement, F around and find out. It's just really interesting to me. So I think I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. Okay, have a good day. Thanks for watching.